Maurice, welcome. Maurice Levy, who is the founder and CEO of Publicis. Please have a seat. Sorry. And Maurice is one of the best known entrepreneur and industry leader in Europe, and I'm really thrilled you're here. Can you talk to us just some facts about Publicis before we get into a conversation?
Okay. First of all, bonjour, good morning to everyone. I know that it's not the right time because everyone is in a hurry to have a lunch. So I will try to make this session a little bit challenging for my friend Loïc.
Oh, you're going to interview me?
And I'm very much impressed by what you have done, by the way, and congratulations to everybody.
Can you hold
Publicis is a startup. And it started in 1926. It was a one-man band operation and went through a lot of difficulties of all kinds. And one of the most difficult things that we had to do was to play in a ground which is normally the ground of the Anglo-Saxon, which is marketing and advertising. And for cultural reasons, as well as economical reasons, it is very difficult to start an advertising operation in France, particularly in those days, which is before World War II, or immediately after when we rebuilt the operation. What has made Publicis successful is, first and foremost, the incredible passion that has been that of Marcel Blanchet, the founder, and everyone in our operations. We love what we do. We give to our client everything we have in the heart. We consider that we are committed to help them, and we do everything we believe in order to change the rules and to go to beyond what people are expecting from us.
What's the size, Maurice, of...
Publicis is today a relatively small operation. We are in slightly more than 100 countries, 104 exactly, 45,000 people. We have $6 billion US revenues. And we are considered by the analyst as the most profitable holding company in our field.
And so in the room you have more than 1,000 entrepreneurs from 30 countries. It took a few years to get, so thanks for joining us. And the reason why I invited Maurice, and I'm so happy here that you're here, is that what can we learn from you? What can we learn from most of the audience is European? How can we entrepreneurs here start from Germany, start from France, start from Spain, and get to a global stage the way you did with your startup?
I'm not sure that you can learn anything from me, and I'm sure that by sitting with you, I will learn much more from your point of view and what you are doing. I'm personally always impressed when I see young people starting their own operation with very little backup, and I think that believing in their idea is something which is very important. The first thing that you have to do, if you want to really grow, is to have a solid base. So don't rush to go outside your borders. Don't rush to do many things at the same time. Do one thing, do it well, own it. And when you own it, you move to the next level. But first and foremost, you have to have a very strong operation based on something which is something you really own, something you have created, where you are a leader, and a leader which is recognized. So don't try to do many things. Don't try to go in many countries first. You build a strong base. Then you can move.
From France, it's okay to do it? From
France
Germany?
has a lot of possibilities, and there is also a lot of difficulties. The difficulties are mostly things with the administration, the legal rules, etc., easy to overcome. I have not seen one single entrepreneur who has a good idea, who has the will, the passion, who has not been able to start in France. So don't believe that France is passé, and France is welcoming the entrepreneurs. And when you see...
So all this, like everything we say about it's difficult to create a company. This morning we were talking about in Europe, you know, the tax system is heavier, and so you're saying, no, that's not.
The tax system, when you are working in France, if you are creating an operation, you have a release of the tax for a few years. You have just to go through some hurdles, but you can get an agreement from the Minister of Finance through the former Agency for Innovation, etc. So there is a lot of things that you can do which is helping you. France is welcoming entrepreneurs. Maybe we have progress to do. Not maybe. We have many progress to do. We have a lot of improvement to bring to ease the possibility of the people in order to start more operations. But don't believe that you can't do it. You can.
But the
yes, you can.
Yes, you can. Where did you get that from?
I don't know. I think it's Sarkozy who said that.
Oh, really?
Sorry, but maybe it's somebody else. McCain. Yes, I remember.
There is a problem though. That most of the so we all do internet here in the room, and internet business or internet initiatives. Most of the internet leaders, and there is one just after you, starting with a G, are American. You know, this small startup that does search. And
never heard about.
When you look at the internet industry, all the heavyweights. So we had lastminute.com, which is travel. It was sold and acquired by Americans. We had Quelco in France, our friend Pierre Chapaz, was sold to Yahoo. We had, Skype.
But it will be sold back.
Yes,
I understand.
That's true. We had Skype. Skype is often quoted as a big European success. It's American, it's eBay. And so that's very sad. I feel really, really sad. Do you think we can fix this in any way? How can we make the next Google or the next Amazon or the next eBay here based in Europe? Not in France per se, because this is really European audience.
Okay, we have with internet, and Publicis is one of the leading, if not the leader, in that field in the advertising world. You have with internet exactly the same problem as the one we have in advertising. The French market has a lot of possibilities, but compared to the US market, which is a real giant, we are dwarves. And as such, we can grow, but to a certain level. And when the possibility of the US market are enormous. So when you start an operation in the US market, it is as if you were starting at the same time in all the European countries.
But we have 22 languages to go through, so it's...
With this difference, we have 22 languages, we have maybe 30 different cultures, we have a lot of hurdles, different tax system, legal system, etc., etc. So there is a privilege and an advantage of being born in the US, and clearly Google, Yahoo have a possibility of growing which is just fantastic. I think we should not be afraid of that. It's great that there are some giants in this industry because they will pave the way. They will build some huge highways. I know that some people are in disagreement with me, and particularly my son, who is running a small operation, which is a superb one, Weborama.
Did you invest?
I did at the beginning. I can't anymore because he's doing so well that we are conflicting.
Okay, and so you invest. Can we pitch you as business angel? You invest. They can come to you and.
I'm pitching. My sons are pitching me.
Right. No, but I'm talking about our friends in the room. They can come at the end and give you a business plan?
They can always send me. My address email is really easy, maurice.levy@publicis.com.
Okay, we'll do that.
Maurice.levy@publicis.com.
I would guarantee you get at least...
You send it,
you get at
and
least
if it
20.
is interesting, I will be interested.
How much do you put usually? 100,000 euros, 500,000 euros, 2 million euros?
I will not comment on that
Who is looking for like 100,000 just in the room to start with?
Okay, you are not interested in that. There is someone who is interested. Okay, we will find solutions.
All right.
Okay, let's go back. I think that the fact that you have the Google, the Yahoo, is something which is very important because, as I said, they are building the relationship with the big advertisers. They are helping, they are making our business much easier. And we should not be afraid to work with them, and we should not be afraid to compete against them.
But we don't, are we?
We are. We are in many areas. We are competing in many areas, and we are collaborating in many more areas. And there is no.
You're talking about our European search engine, Quero?
Okay. Why do you want to be unfair to your home country?
I love my country. Look, we're doing this in Paris.
So the possibility of growing the business in Europe is more difficult for all the reasons that we have said. But they do exist. If you look just at Publicis, when we started in the internet field, we started with a small operation in France. We have now more than $1 billion US dollar of euros. So I don't know how many billion dollars this do make today, of fees derived from internet and digital. So when you can get to that level of fees, this means that you are real, you are good, and you are respected by the client. And we started this from France. I don't believe that starting this from Germany, from London, from Helsinki, or from Poland will make a huge difference. You can do it from Europe. There is absolutely no problem. It is probably more difficult, but there is something that you have in abundance, which is the talent. And you have great talent living in Europe, and you have a lot of engineers who are able to develop a lot of good software.
And we had an example of this, just to tell you that I'm not only negative of, and I'm not at all actually, of Marc Simoncini of Mythic, who's a great European success and shared with us. There is one thing, which is you're obviously one of the best company to provide advertising consultancy. And if you think about Google, just as a transition to the next session, they have not invested a single euro in advertising. So is the role of advertising changing into word of mouth? How do you see your industry? Not your company, but...
Are you sure they have not invested?
Have you ever seen a Google advertising on TV? We can ask Marisa just in a minute. But
no, but they don't need... that is an opinion which I believe is a little bit surprising coming from you, because it is an opinion of the past.
All right.
I think that you can develop communications through many different ways, tools, and obviously internet is one of the best tools today, particularly when you want to speak to the people who are going through the digital era. So I don't believe that advertising is only limited to the big ads or to the classic 30-second commercial. So you can have access to advertising through many different ways. And today, if you look at the Obama campaign,
yes,
this is what we call in our language a truly holistic campaign.
How do you see it?
It's fantastic. You have obviously the digital operation. You have the network, because he has created a network of 3,500,000 people. You have the salespeople because they want, like they do for Avon or for other product, door to door, to present the product. You have the classic ads with everything that we have seen, including the competitive ads showing the weaknesses of the competitor. And you have the infomercial with a 30-minute infomercial, which is something that is quite staggering and never been used in political campaigns. And today, the result is not only that he has been elected, but the result is that clearly Obama believes in communication because he has spent more than anyone before him. It's above $1 billion which has been spent by him, and in total, the full campaign, the cost of the full campaign has been more than $2 billion. So according to the evaluation, it's between 2.2 and 2.5. So this tells you a lot about the power of communication. So you should trust internet. In case you don't, I invite you to trust it.
I think they do.
And you should trust also the combination. It's not one against the other. It's not one replacing the other. It's one plus the other. And by the way, in terms of media, the history tells us that we have never seen in history a media taking the place of another one. It is always an addition. We don't see a media dead due to a new media coming in.
Let's talk a little bit to finish with about recession. How do you see the communication industry? We hear and we read everywhere in the press that it's probably the first thing people cut and that it's going to suffer. And if this is suffering, this is really bad news for the internet because most of it is financed by advertising because we like free content. And how do you see it? Is it really bad? How are your customers feeling? Because if they feel bad, we're going to have a big problem on our sites.
They feel bad, I feel bad, and the news are bad. So that's clear. And what we are seeing, and the latest information we have, and that we have released at the beginning of this week, is that we expect a forecast at best at 0, flat, and probably minus something. Now there is a good news for you. And for you, the good news is that the only segment which is growing is digital. We see growth in digital and in emerging market. Why digital will be growing? First, because if you look back at 2000, digital at that time was an experiment. People were trying, and it was try and error. It was an investment. Today, digital is part of the plans. The second aspect, which is probably more important, is that you can measure. You can analyze, you can measure, and you can see, and you can correct, you can optimize, and all the results of internet campaign are measurable. And when you look at what the client needs today is certainty. In this world of uncertainties, what they do need is certainty. So they want to know who came to see their ad, who has been downloading, who has been watching, who has answered to the questions, etc., etc. So it's not only clicks, it's not only hits, it's much more, it's interaction, and now it's part of the things which are becoming indispensable in the world of communication. So you will not have the growth of 25 to 30% that we have experienced last years, but you will have a growth double-digit, including,
so no minus 40%.
Including in the US.
Okay.
And we will have more than double-digit. We will have double-digit and more than probably 1. It may be probably in the 20s in Europe.
That's great news, Maurice. And I would like to thank you for organizing your great event that many in the room are going to Monaco Media Forum in Monaco, because we don't need competition here in Paris, right?
No, you don't need competition in Paris, and Monaco, it's very boring. You have the sun, you have the sea, you have nice hotels, formidable people. So I understand that this is much more boring.
But congratulations for doing this. Maurice, thank you so much for taking the time.
No, it's my pleasure.
And we hope to have you again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maurice.
Thank you.
Merci,
Merci,
Maurice.
Loïc.